Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Betting Insights. I'm your host, Emily. Of course, I'm joined by Sergio. Sergio, welcome.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Seth. Now, if you're new to the show, be sure to subscribe. Also, smash the like button. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Now, as you know, we are giving out betting tips for 5 different club competitions across Europe: Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, Eredivisie, and the Premier League. Now, we are giving out our best bets also weekly. Now, last week, not the week we were looking for. Not bad, but not great. Kind of started off weird. First game, Chelsea, West Ham, just an absolute shit show. I don't know what West Ham was doing. They were not defending at all. Um, now, also, the rest of the day didn't go very well. Sunday went a little bit better, started off well, but didn't close off very well with Inter losing against AC Milan. So no worries.
Yeah, and there were also a lot of draws. So
Yeah, those weekends happen. It's football, but we'll be bouncing back this weekend. So let's look to have a great weekend. Now, today we are starting with the Bundesliga. First game on the schedule: Freiburg hosting St. Pauli. Freiburg wins set at 1.65. St. Pauli wins set at 5.5. Line for the total goal set at 2.5. Now, obviously, you just have to take Freiburg here, right? St. Pauli scored one goal since the start of the season. Maybe they score a second one here, but Freiburg at home, they should win this one, right?
the over 2.5. Yeah, that's also it's also very interesting. Freiburg could at least score 2 or 3 goals.
So you're taking the over 2.5 here?
Yeah, I'm going for the over 2.5. Yeah, the Freiburg win the 1.6. Yeah, it's something, but maybe not enough.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. The over 2.5, a little bit more interesting at 1.84. And like I said, I expect Freiburg to win this game. I think you do also. So Pauli, they've scored one goal. They won't score one goal all season, so they'll score a second goal at some point, and this may be the game. Good chance of that happening. So I agree with you. The over 2.5, take the over 2.5. All right. Next game, Borussia Mönchengladbach hosting Union Berlin. Gladbach wins set at 2.16. Union wins set at 3.5. Line for total goals again 2.5. Now Union undefeated, but not too many wins, of course. 2 wins, 2 draws. They haven't been that impressive. They scored 4 goals. They've allowed two. I really like Gladbach in this spot. Getting a home win. So who you rolling with?
Yeah, Gladbach for sure. They're playing at home. It's against uh, they are they haven't lost in 6 games or something. So Gladbach needs a win. I'm going for Gladbach. 2 losses in a row. So at home against Union. Yeah, time for a win.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm also rolling with Gladbach here. We seem to agree today. Listen, Gladbach, like you said, 2 losses in a row. They've lost 3 games on the season. They've won one. The 3 games they've lost, kind of tough opponents. Leverkusen, Stuttgart, and Frankfurt, who seems to be in a very good form since the start of the season. So Union's not on that level. So Gladbach at home, always a tough environment. So I'm also rolling with Gladbach here. I agree with you. I'm taking Gladbach. All right. Next game, Wolfsburg hosting Stuttgart. Wolfsburg wins set at 3.2. Stuttgart wins set at 2.17. Line for total goals set at 2.5, but the over 2.5 is just at 1.5. So they're kind of expecting goals here. I'm also expecting goals. If you know Stuttgart, they play a very attacking style of football, and as we saw last week, they put 5 goals on Dortmund. So obviously they will score here. Who are you going with?
Stuttgart, of course. The odds also at 2.18. Yeah, 2.19. I'm definitely going for Stuttgart in this game.
Yeah, I'm also going for Stuttgart. I agree with you once again. Wolfsburg, they've won one game against Holstein Kiel. The other games, they've lost against Bayern Munich, lost against Frankfurt, lost against Wolfsburg. And they've allowed a lot of goals. And I can see Stuttgart really getting on the score sheet here. I'm not sure Wolfsburg can keep up with Stuttgart scoring, so um, I'm taking Stuttgart also in this spot. All right, next up, Mainz hosting Heidenheim. Mainz wins set at 1.87. Heidenheim wins set at 4.3. Line for total goals, again, 2.5. Now, Mainz coming off a good win against Augsburg, but this man, I think they were very lucky. They had their expected goals were like 1.22. Augsburg 2.53. Augsburg had 66% ball possession, 30 shots, 9 shots on goal, while Mainz only had 3 shots on goal. So if you look at the stats, they were basically outplayed. And also, if you look at the game, and Heidenheim, I know they're on a 2-game losing streak, but I don't think Mainz is that better than Heidenheim. So my play here would be Heidenheim plus 1.5 goals. I don't think Mainz is winning this game with a 2-goal difference. Teams are very close to each other. Heidenheim, they scored 8 goals, allowed 7. Mainz scored 8 goals, allowed 8. So Heidenheim plus 1.5 goals. That's a very good play in this game. Or are you doing something here?
Yeah, I'm hesitating too much, and usually when I hesitate, I always go for the highest odd. So this one it should be Heidenheim, but I think that this game will be a draw. I'm not. I'm gonna skip this one.
If you think Heidenheim's winning or a draw, you can also play a double chance for Heidenheim. But like I said, plus 1.5 goals, that should be a great play here because we agree Mainz shouldn't be that heavily favored over Heidenheim, right?
No, definitely not. I don't understand why the odds difference is so so huge, but I would go for the draw.
All right. Next up, Leipzig hosting Augsburg. Leipzig wins set at 1.44. Augsburg wins set at 7. Line for total goals, 3.5. Now, I know the odds are low, 1.44, but I'm just taking Leipzig here. Leipzig, 3 games without a win. They haven't scored in 2 of those 3 games. One was the Champions League loss against Atletico Madrid. The other 2 league games, 2 draws, both 0-0. I can see them being kept scoreless for a 3rd Bundesliga game in a row. So I think there will be goals here, and Leipzig will score enough to win this game. So I'm taking Leipzig. Are you doing something here?
Yeah, maybe both teams to score and Leipzig to win. I think you'll get a little bit more for that.
Yeah, obviously, you get better odds if you take Leipzig and both teams to score. I also think that will happen here, but just taking Leipzig for a win is the safer play because we agree they obviously will win this game. All right, next up, Bayern Munich hosting Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern Munich wins set at 1.76. Leverkusen wins set at 4.25. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, I like the over 3.5 goals here. Bayern Munich is just on a roll. They've scored 14 goals in the last 2 games. If you go back to the last 3 games, that's 20 goals over 3 games. So they're just on a roll. And Leverkusen, obviously, they lost the game against Leipzig. And you see the defense kind of shaky. They've allowed 3 goals against Wolfsburg, also 3 against Leipzig. And if you look at the first game of the season against Gladbach, Gladbach scored twice and could have easily scored 3 or 4 times. So I'm expecting goals in this game, taking the over 3.5. Who are you going with?
Bayern is on a roll. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think Bayer Leverkusen will be the first real test, and I'm just going for a gut feeling here and going for Leverkusen. I think Bayern hasn't been tested so far. I think Leverkusen played a little bit tougher games. I think they proved a little bit more last season. pretty much stay together. I'm I'll go for Leverkusen here. I think everybody expects Bayern to win, and usually then it goes wrong. So
Yeah, but
I'll go for a double chance.
not a bad play. And I agree with you. This will be their first test. But even if they haven't been tested that much, 20 goals over 3 games is impressive.
Yes, it is. It is, but it also depends who you play against. So
Yeah, but still, like 20 goals over, that doesn't matter who you play against. Obviously, it somewhat matters, but you're just playing in the teams in the Bundesliga. One was the Champions League game. So 20 goals over 3 games is just very impressive. And like I said, I'm not sure Bayern Munich wins this game, but I do believe they will score. And if Leverkusen is going to win, they're going to have to keep up with Bayern Munich scoring. So the over 3.5 goals, that's my play for this game.
okay.
All right. Next up, Holstein Kiel hosting Frankfurt. Holstein Kiel wins set at 4.4. Frankfurt wins set at 1.73. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Kind of high for my liking. But I like Frankfurt in this spot. Aside from the opening game they've lost, they kind of rolled. They had a midweek matchup against Victoria Pilsen, a 3-3 draw. Kind of somewhat disappointing, but still they played very well in that game, and I believe they will win this game. Who you were going with here?
Yeah. I think. Yeah, definitely Frankfurt. Holstein Kiel. Yeah, I think. Yeah, 1 point. Till now, I think Frankfurt. This is an away game that they should win, and I'm even thinking of the over 3.5 here. I think there will be a lot of goals scored. They will score a lot of goals this game.
Over 3.5 is kind of, like I said, too high for my liking. But I do like Frankfurt, and these are good odds, not great, but very good odds, 1.73. And Kiel, they've allowed 13 goals. That kind of speaks to the over 3.5 goals that you like, but I still think it's a tad bit too high. I'm taking just Frankfurt money line 1.73. I think those are some good odds. All right. Next up, Hoffenheim hosting Werder Bremen. Hoffenheim wins set at 2.35. Werder Bremen wins set at 2.85. Line for the total goal set at 3.5. Now, Werder Bremen just got a beating from Bayern Munich last week, 5-0. And not only did they allow 5 goals, they didn't even get a shot off the whole game. So kind of confidence
Yeah.
should be low here, while Hoffenheim will be looking to get their first home win of the season. I like them in the spot. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna bet this game. This one is a skip for me. I think Werder Bremen, like you said, uh, I think low and high and that they're in a position this time of the season to win against Werder Bremen. I'm also going for a draw here.
I'm leaning towards Hoffenheim in this spot, so I think I'll be playing a double chance for Hoffenheim. I think they'll get their first home win of the season. All right, now that wraps up the Bundesliga. Let's get to the Premier League. First game on the schedule, Newcastle United hosting Manchester City. Newcastle wins set at 5.25. City wins set at 1.65. Line for the total goal set at 3.5. Bad news for Manchester City. Rodri is out for the rest of the season. I think they will miss him, but I don't think it will show up in this game. Like I said last week, Newcastle, they've kind of been sneaking away with wins. And last week we saw they lost against Nottingham Forest. And I believe they will lose again here against City. City they have the better players, they're the better team. And I think they will be a little bit ticked off dropping points against a 10-man Arsenal team. So give me City in this spot. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going for the over 3.5 here. I'm not gonna pick a side. because actually I think Newcastle United, they at home, they can cause a little bit trouble for City. So I I'm going for the over 3.5 here.
I I kind of like the over 3.5 goals also. They might cause some trouble. I believe they will score in this game. So the over 3.5. Obviously, if I think City will win, it's not a bad play. Very good chance of it going over. And the over 3.5 goals is set at 2.15 on the 3.5 at 1.7. So not a pick 'em, but actually very close to each other. So that's not a bad play. I just like City in this game. All right, next up, Brentford hosting West Ham. Brentford win set at 2.3. West Ham win set at 3.25. Line for the total goal set at 2.5. Now, I don't know what's going on with West Ham. Of course, bad pick last week. They lost against Chelsea, and this start of the game just went crazy. I don't know what they were doing. They were not defending at all. And that just rolled right into their midweek matchup with Liverpool allowing 5 goals. Now they visit Brentford, who's dealing with a lot of injuries. So that makes me lean a little bit towards West Ham. But listen, man, they're not giving me confidence over the last 2 games. Who are you going with here?
Yeah, Brentford, they won their last 2 home games. I think yes, they won the last 2 home games. So actually, normally you would go for Brentford, but I'm going for West Ham. This one, they haven't won in 4 games. Disappointing against Chelsea, um, against Liverpool. So I think it's they're gonna turn it around against Brentford. They're gonna have their first win in 5 games. So yeah, I'm going for West Ham.
Yeah, like I said, I was also leaning towards West Ham. I like the over 2.5 goals here, set at 1.66. I think that's kind of an easy play here. Like I said, West Ham, they've allowed 8 goals over the last 2 games. And they've allowed 3 goals the last game against Tottenham. Obviously, they've scored before that. They scored 3, allowed 1. So if you look at their season standings, they scored 7 goals, allowed 9. West Ham scored 5, allowed 9. So both teams don't really know how to defend that great. So the over 2.5 goals, kind of an easy play for me. I'm taking the over 2.5, but kind of agree with you. Also leaning towards West Ham. I think they will turn it around in this game. All right, next up, Chelsea hosting Brighton. Chelsea wins set at 1.78. Brighton wins set at 4.4. Line for the total goal set at 2.5. Now, Chelsea, I don't really trust Chelsea at all. I know they're kind of on a roll the last 3 games, but so man, I still don't trust them. And Brighton away game, like Chelsea still has the better players. Brighton kind of has the better team, but if you look at Chelsea, if they have the better players and they're playing at home, kind of hard going against them. With kind of rolling with Brighton in this game. Who are you going with?
Also going for Chelsea here. They won the last 4 games they played. I'm just gonna go for the Chelsea win here.
Yeah, and they usually play good at home. So I kind of agree with you. Chelsea winning is the play here. All right, next up, Everton hosting Crystal Palace. Everton wins set at 2.85. Crystal Palace wins set at 2.65. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, this is a game I'm not touching at all this weekend. And the odds kind of tell you quite possibly a draw here. I don't trust either of these teams. Are you doing something here?
I don't. I'm going with Crystal Palace here. They only won the last 4 games they won from Queens Park. One to I think it was the EFL Cup, I think. But uh, um, it was a draw against Man United, draw against Leicester, and a draw Chelsea. So I think it's time for a win against Everton. I'm uh, I'm I'm going for a Crystal Palace win.
Yeah, and obviously Everton, they've not been great since the start of the season. Actually looked awful. So rolling with Crystal Palace, not a bad play here, but um, I'm not backing them on the road here, so I'm kind of staying away from this game. But if I were to do something, I would put my money on Crystal Palace, but just not doing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 1-goal game. Crystal Palace 0-1 win.
All right, even a correct score.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, next up, Nottingham Forest hosting Fulham. Forest wins set at 2.45. Fulham wins set at 3.2. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Forest kind of been playing great since the start of the season. They haven't won at home yet, only 2 draws. And Fulham now going on the road. Listen, man, I'm just rolling with Nottingham Forest here. I'm not sure they win the game outright, but they will at least pick up a draw. So I'm doing a bet builder for this game, and that is a double chance for Nottingham Forest and over 1.5 goals for the total game. That gives you some good odds. So listen, man, Fulham's not winning this game, not away. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure Nottingham Forest is winning, but they're getting at least a draw. If you look at Fulham's away record, this man, they've lost against Preston in the EFL Cup. They've picked up a draw against Ipswich. So on the road, they've not been great, and that dates back to last season. So I think that will continue here. Are you doing something?
Yeah, Fulham, yeah, they surprised me against Newcastle last week. So they're playing an away game, and they weren't supposed to win. So, this one against Forest, I'm going for Forest also. I don't trust Fulham in this one.
Yeah. All right. We agree there. Let's get to the next game. Arsenal hosting Leicester City. Arsenal wins set at 1.22. Leicester City wins set at 17. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Now, obviously, I think Arsenal will win this game, and the odds kind of speak to themselves. But at 1.22, I'm just not playing that game. Don't like the over 3.5. So not doing anything here. Are you doing something?
The over 3.5, I think it's still interesting against Leicester. Maybe giving Leicester a goal. Arsenal this season, I think that they they conceded a few goals, not a lot, but I think I may be giving Leicester a goal. The over 3.5, interesting,
Yeah,
especially against
interesting,
Arsenal.
and that's the only interesting and play for this game. So if you're doing something, the over 3.5. But other than that, just very low odds backing Arsenal here. And listen, they're playing at home, so they should win this game. Leicester City's not been great, but I'm not playing this game. All right. Next up, Wolves hosting Liverpool. Wolves win set at 9. Liverpool win set at 1.35. Line for total goals again 3.5. Now, Liverpool, they lost against Nottingham Forest, but if you look at how they've bounced back over the last 3 games, that kind of looks like a slip up because they've rolled in the last 3 games. 5-1 win against West Ham, 3-0 against Bournemouth, and also a 3-1 win against AC Milan. So it looks like a slip up, the game against Nottingham Forest, and Wolves obviously not in great form. They haven't won in 4 games, so this will probably be 5, right?
Yes, definitely 5. And for Liverpool, I agree with you. They should win this one, and maybe very easy. But I don't trust the over 3.5. So I'm gonna skip this one.
I'm also not playing the over 2.5. I do like Liverpool, so Also not great, 1.35, not as low as Arsenal. So I'll maybe look to parlay Liverpool with another game. Um, I'll sleep on that one, but I'm definitely backing Liverpool in this game. All right. Next up, Ipswich hosting Aston Villa. Ipswich wins set at 4.2. Villa wins set at 1.93. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Villa is just on a roll, man. They're just very hot. Aside from the game they've lost against Arsenal, they've won every other game and actually very convincingly. So are they rolling here again?
Yeah, of course, Aston. I'm going for Aston Villa, and the odds are very interesting, of course. The 1.92. So yeah, I'm going for an Aston win here. You can't let that one slide.
Listen, man, obviously I like Aston Villa. There's nothing to like about Ipswich, but 1.93 kind of stinks for me. 1.93 is too high for a Villa team that's just in great form against the. I know they're on the road, but against the Ipswich team that hasn't shown anything, 1.93 is just too high. Don't you think the line stinks?
Yes, yes, I think, and they stink, but I hope, I hope it's a stupid mistake. So, uh,
All right. Listen, man, I'm also backing Villa in the spot. I agree with everything you said, but not one of my best bets because the line stinks. But Villa is just a far better team. They have the better players, and I think they will win here. Ipswich has not shown me anything this season. All right. Next up, Manchester United hosting Tottenham. United win set at 2.43. Tottenham win set at 2.9. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, I have to fact check something quick. Ten Hag still has a job?
yes, he still has it.
Oh, how's that
Yeah.
possible?
He still has. But this is, I think, maybe one of his last chances.
We've been saying that for 2 years now, I think.
Yeah, but the problem is, Ten Hag, he hasn't won from a London club for since he's manager at United. A few draws, but when he plays against a team from London, he usually.
Yeah, I agree with you. Usually, I think that he won one game against Chelsea.
Against, oh yeah, was it one against?
Yeah, they won one game. I think it was the crazy 4-3 win against Chelsea. They were playing
But
at home.
but it wasn't in the Premier League then, maybe the FA Cup or something.
No, I think it was the Premier League. I
Oh,
think it was the Premier League. But
okay, but he doesn't win a lot against against the London clubs, so I'm I know I'm hesitant. A draw maybe, but I'm not going for a Manchester United win, a draw or a Tottenham win. So maybe a double chance Tottenham, but I would even just go for a Tottenham win.
listen, man, I don't trust Tottenham in this spot. I know I'm not a big Ten Hag fan. I question how he still has a job, but Tottenham, especially on the road, I can't trust them. And if you look at how they've played all season, I know they're on a 3-game winning streak, but if you look at how they've played, they haven't been that impressive, and especially against the better clubs. Of course, they lost against Arsenal, lost against Newcastle United. Even against Leicester City, had some trouble on the road. So I'm rolling with United here. I'm gonna back United. I may look stupid because, like I said, man, I don't like Ten Hag and I don't like anything about United. But at home, 2 draws, um, or 2 draws in a row against Crystal Palace and against FC Twente.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Did you see the game against Twente? Twente could have won almost, you know, if they played a few chances, played it out a little bit better, Twente could have won. So I think Tottenham has a chance.
Yeah, but that's classic Ten Hag, especially against small clubs. because now he can't really play his style of football. But against a team like Tottenham, he will play his style of football. You know, Tottenham will control in a ball possession. United will defend. They will try to hit him on a counter. So that kind of plays into his hands. And especially after such a bad performance against Twente, he will have his guys somewhat ready. Um, this man, like I said, I don't trust Tottenham that much. I'm backing United in this spot.
And what do you think about the over 3.5 then?
Nah, a tad bit too high. Tad bit too high. But
Yeah,
it's
I
possible.
agree.
It's possible. But that I'm not playing the over 2.5. I'm just playing United for a win here. All right, that wraps up the Premier League. Let's get to La Liga. First game on the schedule. Getafe hosting Alaves. Getafe wins set at 2.63. Alaves wins set at 3.3. Line for total goals set at 1.5. And if you have been listening to the show, we don't play these games. We're not expecting too many goals in this game. So are you doing something here?
Yeah, no, this one definitely skip draw or skip. You know,
All right.
the odds speak for themselves.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Rayo hosting Leganes. Rayo wins set at 1.95. Leganes wins set at 4.9. Line for total goals again 1.5. Are you doing something here?
Leaning towards Rayo only because they're playing at home, and Leganes is actually one of those teams. They won a game in the last 6, but I think that will be it for a few games more this season. So only because they're playing at home, I'm going for Rayo Vallecano.
Yeah, obviously you have to back the home team here. But just to lean, neither of these teams have really been great. Um, but if you're rolling with one, you gotta go with Rayo, more experienced team, and they're playing at home. But I don't really like this game. All right, next up, Real Sociedad hosting Valencia. Sociedad wins set at 1.94. Valencia wins set at 4.8. Line for the total goals, again, 1.5. Now, Sociedad, they finally got on the score sheet against Olympic Nice. I backed them to win last weekend against Real Valladolid. It was a disappointing 0-0 draw. They had ball possession, 65%, 4 shots on goal, just couldn't find the back of the net. And that's been the story all season. They've scored 1 goal in the last 5 games, so that's struggle. Valencia, they scored 2 goals in the last 3 games, but both were in one game against Girona. So both teams kind of have trouble scoring here. Who are you going with here?
I'm going for the 1-1 draw. Yeah, I'm gonna skip this one. I don't trust these none of these two, and maybe just for the odds, gun to my head, I would go for Valencia, but still, yeah, it's I think, or maybe the team that scores first wins, but I think it would be a draw. I'm going for a draw here.
After being shut out in midweek against Osasuna, I do believe Valencia can get on the score sheet here. So the only play I'm looking at is both teams to score. It's set at 2.23, so over 2-1 for just both teams to score. I think that's a good play here. Other than that, I don't like any other play in this game. I kind of agree with everything you said. Now let's get to the next game. Osasuna hosting Barcelona. Osasuna wins set at 6.25. Barcelona wins set at 1.5. Line for the total goal set at 3.5. Now Barcelona kind of had a slip up against AS Monaco, but Monaco, they look like the better team in League One. So and also Barcelona, they received an early red card. So not a bad game there, but if you look at the other games, they've kind of dominated most of the games. Do you think they will win here again?
Yeah, usually they win the games against Osasuna, so maybe even an easy one. But still, the over 3.5 is still a little bit too much for me. So I'm gonna skip this one.
I'm also not playing the over 3.5. Maybe look to parlay Liverpool with Barcelona. That will give you some good odds. Barcelona will win this game, and like we discussed the Liverpool game, we also expect them to win this game. So that will be a good parlay. Liverpool wins and Barcelona wins. All right. Next up, Celta hosting Girona. Celta wins set at 2.14. Girona wins set at 3.35. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Celta kind of disappointing. Only one win in the last 5 games, but the last 2 games were kind of tough on the road against Bilbao, and after that they hosted Atletico Madrid. Girona also not in great form. They haven't won in 4 games and they haven't scored in 3. Um, they kind of have trouble scoring, but I do know one thing: Celta does not have trouble scoring. They've scored 14 goals over their 7 games, so average of 2 goals a game, and they will score here again. Not sure Girona does, so I'm taking Celta for a win. What are you doing here?
It looks like it's over for Girona. Just one season. Yeah,
They've lost a lot of key players.
yeah. So yeah, and mm, I'm uh, I'm going for Celta Vigo. Also, Girona actually they haven't won in 4. And even at home a draw against Rayo. So yeah, I don't think they're in a position to win an away game, especially not against Celta. So
Yeah, and not only have they not won in 4 games, they've just scored just 1 goal over those 4 games. So that's trouble.
yeah, Celta win.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, next up, Bilbao hosting Sevilla. Bilbao wins set at 1.75. Sevilla wins set at 4.9. Line for the total goals set at 2.5. Now, obviously, I like Bilbao in this spot. They're the better team. Only slight concern, they had a midweek matchup where they went on the road against AS Roma. So that's the only thing that concerns me. But other than that, Bilbao should roll in this game. Sevilla's not good. Who are you going with here?
Yeah. Normally I would go for Bilbao, but I understand what you said about the away game, and I agree with you against Roma. So I'm going for the over 2.5 here. I
Yeah.
think I think Sevilla will score, but Atletico Madrid will still win. So over
Yeah,
2.5 or Bilbao wins. Both teams to score.
yeah, maybe not a bad play. The over 2.5. And you look at the over 2.5 goals set at 1.97, under 2.5 goals at 1.84. So um very good chance of the very good chance of the over 2.5 also hitting in this spot. So not a bad play. The over 2.5 goals might be the best play for this game. All right. Next up, Real Betis hosting Espanyol. Betis wins set at 1.65. Espanyol wins set at 5.8. Line for the total goals set at 2.5. Now, I like Betis in this spot. They haven't won in 2 games. Kind of a slip up at home against Mallorca. They kind of dominated that game. 16 shots, 6 on goal. Expected goals 1.6, but still lost 1-2. So kind of unfortunate. Then they go on the road against Las Palmas, a game they actually also should have won. Expected goals almost 2. So now hosting an Espanyol team that should be full already. They've already won 2 games this early in the season, so Betty should roll here. Or are you doing something?
Yeah. I'm also going for a Betis win, but I hesitate too much because I don't think that the difference between these two teams is that huge as the odds show. So Actually, I'm leaning more to, but Real Betis, playing at home. I think I think they could win this one, but I am hesitating too much, so this one is a skip for me also.
Oh, actually, in Betty's winning one of my best bets for the weekend. But
So that's not a very high odd, but okay.
it doesn't matter. There's also some good odds, 1.65. I think it's really good value backing Betis at home. Espanyol's not going on the road and taking points from Betis, so one of my best bets. All right, next up, Atletico Madrid hosting Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid wins set at 3. Real Madrid wins set at 2.55. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, listen, Real Madrid, this will be not really their first true test. They had a good opponent in Stuttgart in the Champions League, but obviously Atletico Madrid on another level, and now they're going on the road. So um, probably their toughest match so far during the season. I'm still gonna take Real Madrid in this spot. 2.55 odds are just too high to let these one pass. And I know Real Madrid, they haven't shown what they're really capable of, kind of disappointing in some games. But Atletico Madrid also not been great in some of their games. A draw against Villarreal, a draw against Espanyol, a draw against Rayo Vallecano. Real Madrid, they have the better players. They still have the better team. They have something to prove. I'm backing Real Madrid in this spot. Very good odds. Actually, I'm making it one of my best bets at 2.55. What are you doing here?
Yeah, both of them haven't lost in the last 6 games. Atletico Madrid, yeah, they got a little bit more. Yeah, they got a little bit, the part of the weaker opponents. So I understand what you're saying. Um, but Real Madrid is, yeah, it's not really an away game. They're playing in Madrid, so
Yeah,
I uh, I agree with you. And the over 2.5 is also interesting, but yeah, like you said, a win for Real, you can't let that one slide at 2.55. It's not you don't get these odds for Real Madrid all the time, so um, I would go with the Real win also.
yeah, and Real just they have the far better players. So um, with something to prove, they should win this game. I really like Real. All right, no, sorry, one more game left in La Liga. Villarreal hosting Las Palmas. It's a Monday game. We don't really like the Monday games, but Villarreal wins set at 1.52. They've kind of been on a good streak, and I'm playing at home against Las Palmas. I believe they will win this game, but not really doing anything in that game. Are you doing something?
No, also not. Villarreal win 1.52.
Yeah, and the over two and a
Over
half
two and a
goals.
half, 1.54.
Yeah,
So, and it's Monday. Yeah, so no,
I was just about to say that.
I'm gonna skip this one.
All right, I agree with you. Now that wraps up La Liga. Let's get to the Eredivisie. First game, Willem 2 hosting PSV. Willem 2 wins set at 12. PSV wins set at 1.25. Line for total goals set at 3.5. This man, kind of low odds backing PSV at 1.25. Not that comfortable playing the over 3.5 goals, although PSV they score a lot. Are you doing something here?
They score a lot, and they usually that's maybe the difference with the last season. They concede a little bit more goals, so scores a goal. Maybe they even score first because usually PSV, when they start in the beginning of the match, they don't play very well, and that usually gives the smaller team a chance to score or create a lot of chances. So it's a possibility that Willem II scores first, and I think is possible.
So you're playing the over 3.5 goals here.
Mm, I'm just saying when it will be possible to have the over 3.5, then Willem 2 needs to score first. But yeah, that's a big if.
Yeah,
So
but like I said, I don't have a play in that game. Do you have a play?
no.
All right. So we're skipping that game. All right. I'm good with
Yeah.
that. I'm good with that. All right. Let's get to the next game. NEC hosting Feyenoord. NEC wins set at 6. Feyenoord wins set at 1.6. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, kind of sneaky high odds for Feyenoord, 1.6, but they haven't been really good since the start of the season. So trouble kind of looming in Feyenoord.
No, I don't think so. They this one they had a few tricky games, the against Breda. It was okay, but yeah, it's still Breda. So they really need a good game this weekend, after two draws and a loss. So they need a good game, and I think NEC not the same like last season. So I think Feyenoord will try to prove a point this weekend against NEC.
And then, those are some good odds backing Feyenoord. Sneaky good at 1.6. All right. Next game, Sparta hosting Fortuna. Sparta wins set at 1.8. Fortuna wins set at 4.8. Line for the total goal set at 2.5. Now, Fortuna, they won their first two games of the season, and people were like, oh my God, can they finish in the top 10? Are they really doing something? And since that, it's just been the same old Fortuna. So obviously, you have to take Sparta in this spot, right?
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Fortuna they lost five in a row, so the first thing that they'll do is make sure that Sparta doesn't score. So they're gonna make it very difficult for Sparta. And Sparta usually has a problem with teams that play like that. That's why in the beginning of the season they had almost only draws. And from the last six games, six of them, three of them were draws also. So yeah, I'm not so sure about Sparta. They don't convince me that much. So I would go for a draw here. I think Fortuna just needs to get a little bit confidence in at least getting a point. So I'm uh I'm gonna skip this one, but gun to my head, I would go for a draw.
Yeah, then I would rather skip this game because I don't trust Fortuna at all. So um, then this game is a stay away for me. I'm either playing Sparta or just staying away, and I hear everything you're saying, so might just stay away from this game. But this man, Fortuna is just awful, so I can't back them with any confidence. Not even backing them to pick up 1 point and a draw or something. So either Sparta or just a complete stay away. All right, next up, Swallow hosting Almere City. Swallow win set at 2.04. Almere City won set at 3.8. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Almere City, they haven't scored over the last two games. One was a draw, but a 0-0 draw. And in the last game, they've allowed 5 goals against Twente. PEC, they've won one home game against Heracles. I think they can win their second home game of the season here against an Almere City team that's actually just bad. But Peck also is not that much better. But at least Peck can score goals. 6 goals scored, allowed 10. While Almere City has just scored 2 goals and allowed 17. So the leanest towards Peck in this spot. Are you doing something?
Yeah, the lean is definitely towards spec, but Almere City, I think this weekend they'll face an opponent that they can maybe play a little bit more offensive because yeah, Pax Swallow isn't also that great. I think these two teams are on the same level. That's why the over 2.5 is also very interesting because both team will both teams will definitely score. Um, so I would go for Pack Zwolle for a win, or both teams to score and Pack win. And but people that hesitate too much, the over 2.5, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, with 27 goals allowed between the two teams, I think the over 2.5 goals is a very good play for this game, and kind of agree with everything you said. So nothing to add. All right, next up, Groningen hosting Go Ahead Eagles. Groningen wins set at 2.32. Go Ahead Eagles win set at 3.15. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Groningen kind of started the season good with a couple wins, but they've been trailing a little bit over the last couple of games. And the last game against Heerenveen, they just had one shot on goal, expected goals 0.21, only 34% ball possession, and Heerenveen is not that great. So something's not going right with Groningen at the moment. Who are you going into here?
I think you can't do anything else than to go for Groningen. They haven't won in 4 games, 3 draws, 1 loss. Go Ahead, on the other hand, it was a draw against Ajax last weekend, but they were playing at home. And Ajax, I think they underestimated Go Ahead like Ajax usually does. So, so I'm just going for a Groningen win here. I think at home, they're going to bounce back because they started the season very good, and I think they were a little bit unlucky playing against Feyenoord, and also very disappointing. And yeah, AZ they played a good game against AZ, so I think a win against Go Ahead is possible here. I'm going for the Groningen win.
I'm also leaning towards Groningen, although the game against AZ, it was a home game, but they defended very well. Not sure they played very well, but obviously, Go Ahead Eagles
It's
is
part
not.
of the game.
Yes, it's part of the game. Go Ahead Eagles obviously not on the level of AZ, so I kind of agree with you. I'm also leaning towards Groningen. Definitely not playing Go Ahead Eagles in a road game. That's something I'm definitely not doing. All right. Next up, Twente hosting Breda. Twente wins set at 1.23. Breda wins set at 12.5. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now the odds kind of speak to themselves, and Breda is just bad. Twente at home should win this game. They're coming off a road game against United in midweek, so slight concern. But with how awful Breda is, that shouldn't be a concern, right?
Yeah, it should be, but yeah, if you don't go for the over 3.5 here, you should just skip this game because Twente, especially with the confidence they gain playing against United. Um, so I think against Breda, it should be an easy match.
Yeah. All right. Next up, RKC hosting Ajax. RKC wins set at 7.5. Ajax wins set at 1.43. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Now, I know 1.43 isn't high, but this is actually very high considering they're playing against RKC, who is just dead last in the league, 0 points, 3 goals scored, 17 goals allowed, and Ajax coming off a very good win against Besiktas 4-0. So 1.43 is actually high for Ajax in this spot, right?
Yes, it is, and the over 3.5 even. I think Ajax will try to prove that what they did against Besiktas wasn't
Look.
a one-off. So yeah, RKC, I think they're gonna have a very hard weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm definitely taking Ajax in this spot. I know the odds aren't that high, but like I said, 1.43 is actually high for Ajax. So maybe look to parlay Ajax with another team. Think maybe Twente or Feyenoord, one of those two. All right. Next up, AZ hosting Utrecht. AZ wins set at 1.64. Utrecht wins set at 5.6. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, these are actually two of your favorite teams in the Eredivisie, Sergio. So I'm gonna let you go on this one.
Yes, yes, that's two of my team, and they're very close together. The number 2 and 3 in the league, but still Utrecht. I think their position at the moment is a little bit too high for the way that they're playing. They were a little bit lucky against Willem too. I think it was day one, yes, and also against Twente is also a game that they should have drawn, and against Breda they should have lost. That's
Yes,
that's
yes, yes,
good.
yes, yes.
They were lucky those two games, and still, if you watch their games and the way they play, it will be very difficult against AZ. Maybe because AZ played during the week, but it was still a home game. So yeah, maybe that should maybe level the playing field, but I'm still leaning towards AZ to win this one. I think Utrecht will be out of luck this weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you, everything you said. And they've been very lucky over the last three games, so it should end somewhere. And what better place to end than in Alkmaar, right?
Yeah. So if you're gonna play this game, just go for AZ at 1.62. That's interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. All right, that wraps up Eredivisie. Last but not least, let's get to Serie A. First game on the schedule, Udinese hosting Inter. Udinese wins set at 7. Inter wins set at 1.5. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Inter now 3 games without a win. Now one was the Champions League game, so 2 league games without a win. So they should bounce back here, but it was kind of disappointing against AC Milan. I know Udinese started out the season very well, but as we saw last weekend against Roma, listen, man, they're not on the level of the top teams. So Inter not winning in 3 games should be very eager to get some points here. I'm taking Inter. Are you doing something?
Yes, I don't think they have another chance or another option than to just win this game and up to the next. So yeah, I'm also going for the Inter win here. I don't see anything else happening.
All right. Next up, Genoa hosting Juventus. Genoa wins set at 5.25. Juve wins set at 1.75. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Juve still undefeated. They haven't lost over the last 4 games, but only one win, and that was the Champions League win against PSV. So in the league, 3 straight draws, and not only 3 straight draws, 3 straight 0-0 draws. So
Yeah.
kind of kind of worrisome here. But listen, man, I think the odds are still a tad bit too high, 1.75. He was not a great team, and 3 straight league draws. Juventus will also be eager to pick up points here. I'm taking Juventus as one of the best bets for the weekend. Are you doing something here?
Yeah, but the difference between them is only 4 points. So that I think this has a lot. Juventus, the best game they played, I think it was against PSV. Scored 2 great goals. But yeah, I don't think it will be a easy game against Genoa. But you just have to go for a Juventus win.
Yeah, you just have to do that. And not only is Juventus the better team here, Genoa played during the week against Sampdoria. Obviously a full 90 minutes, but the game also went to penalties and they lost that game. So confidence won't be that high rolling into this game. So you just have to take Juventus in this spot.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Bologna hosting Atalanta. Bologna wins set at 3.05. Atalanta wins set at 2.43. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, I'm only looking at the over 2.5 goals in this spot. Atalanta kind of disappointing against Como, losing 3-2 in midweek. And over the last 5 games, only one win. Bologna also only one win over the last 5 games. So don't really trust either teams at the moment. Or are you doing something here?
Yeah, no, lean towards Bologna, but that's only because they, the confidence playing against Monza away, won that one. One win in the last 6. So now at home against Atalanta, I think Atalanta a little bit too disappointing. This this season, or the beginning of the season. I expected a little bit more from them. I'm going for a Bologna win, actually.
All right. Kind of risky bet, but the home team backing the home team, not a bad play. All right. Next up, Torino hosting Lazio. Torino wins set at 3. Lazio wins set at 2.63. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Torino lost against Empoli last week. And we'll get to Empoli in a couple of minutes, but kind of very surprising in the start of the season.
Yeah.
Lazio, they played during the week, kind of picked up a very good win, 3-0 against Dynamo Kiev. So kind of a short week for them, traveling now to Torino. I would have taken Lazio in this spot, but having played in midweek, now I'm kind of hesitating. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm going for the number 2 in the in the city. Yeah, of course. So I'm going for a Torino win.
Torino's actually number 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the number 1 in the team. Oh, well, even better then. I'm going for the number 1. Are they number 1? I thought they were the 2.
No, they're number 1.
Oh,
And now they're level on points with AC Milan after AC Milan won in a 3-0 against Lecce. But Torino's still number 1.
Okay, so yeah, that's so yeah. You have to go for Torino. Like you said, last year they played during the week, and it was an away game also in the Europa League, was it? Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, I'm going for a Torino win here. I would dare to say it's even one of my best bets this weekend.
Yeah. Not bad odds, actually very good odds at 3. So all right. Next up, Como hosting Hellas Verona. Como wins set at 2.18. Verona wins set at 3.55. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Como coming off a good win against Atalanta, kind of riding high. So usually that doesn't bode well. Kind of a letdown in the next game. I'm not sure, and I don't know why Como is that heavily favored over Verona at 2.18. And I really don't trust either of these teams. So I'm not playing anything here in this game. Are you doing something?
Yes. Yeah, Como, like you said, yeah, I don't understand why. I would even go for Hellas Verona just because the odds are higher. So, but I'm gonna skip this one also. And over 2.5, no way. That's they won't trick me into that. So, yes, I'm just gonna skip this one.
All right, I'm joining you. All right, next up, Roma hosting Venezia. Roma wins set at 1.45. Venezia wins set at 7.5. Line for the total goal set at 2.5. Now, Roma finally picked up a win last weekend against Udinese 3-0, actually in very convincing fashion. Then they played during the week a home game, so no travel. That's good. And they also played very well against Athletic Bilbao, now hosting a Venezia team that's coming off a win. Should feel good. Maybe bellies may be full after winning 2-0 against Genoa. So obviously you have to take Roma in this spot, right?
Yeah, yeah, you should go for Roma here, but uh, I think at 1.47, a bit low and over 2.5. Yeah, no, I don't see that happening. Also, Roma doesn't score a lot, and they will win, I'm sure, but I'm skipping this one also.
You could look to parlay Roma with Inter. Both are set. Both odds are set at around 1.5. So if you parlay those two games, it will give you some good odds. All right. Next up, Empoli hosting Fiorentina. Empoli wins set at 3.5. Fiorentina wins set at 2.2. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Empoli surprisingly undefeated in the league. They were one of the worst teams in the last year, and now for some reason they're undefeated. They've only allowed 2 goals. They've won 2 games, and they've picked up a draw in the 3 other games. While Fiorentina is coming off their first win last weekend against Lazio. And listen, man, Empoli is just playing. They're just too high in the standings for my liking, right? They're just too high. I
Yeah.
don't think they're that good. They will suffer their first loss here. I'm backing Fiorentina in this spot. Are you doing something?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one. Empoli, like you said, yeah, they haven't lost in 6 games, so yeah, this is gonna be their first loss, and I think they know. That's why the odds are also a little bit lower for Fiorentina.
Yeah, obviously, because if Empoli was really that good, they would have been favored in this game.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Napoli hosting Monza. Napoli wins set at 1.4. Monza wins set at 8. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Napoli kind of on a roll. I thought they were a little bit lucky. I still think they were a little bit lucky in the start of the season. Their first couple of wins against Parma and Bologna. But over the last couple of games, they've won in very convincing fashion. Uh, Sprinkled in between those last 2 games, a draw against Juventus, but on the road, so not a bad performance. Now they host a Monza team that not great. Haven't won a game in the league yet. Played during the week and picked up a win against Brescia in the Coppa Italia. But going on the road, I think that's a little bit too much for Monza. So still think Napoli will win this game. Are you doing something here?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Just go for the Napoli win here. Playing at home, yeah, against Monza, mm, not that great this season. So yeah,
All right. Now, next up, Parma hosting Cagliari. Parma wins set at 2.14. Cagliari wins set at 3.35. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, I really like Parma in this spot. Now, I know they haven't picked up too many points, but like I said, they've kind of been playing well. A win against AC Milan. Very unlucky to lose against Napoli after being up and receiving a red card, and also against Udinese receiving a red card last weekend on the road against Lecce, picked up a good 1 point. While Cagliari, they haven't done anything yet since the start of the season. They also played during the week a 1-0 win. But aside from that, if you look at the Serie A games, last 3 games, they've lost all of them and they haven't scored a goal. So Parma's the better team here, and good odds, even for a Monday, good odds. So I'm backing Parma. Are you doing something?
yeah. Good odds, like you said, yeah, for a Monday. But sorry, man, this one is a skip for me also.
Just because it's a
I
Monday
stay
game.
at my I stay at my Monday games, and I'm not gonna spend any money on a Monday game. And by the looks of it, difference is just 2 or 3 points. Both of them just one game in the last 6, so draw.
Yeah, that's for me. It's the only game I'll be playing on Monday. I'll be backing Parma, but that's about it. All right, now that wraps up Serie A, and that wraps up all picks and leans for the upcoming weekend. Quick recap for the bets we really like this weekend. I like Real Betis to win, Celta Vigo to win, Real Madrid to win. I'm gonna parlay Twente with Ajax. I like Juventus, and I'm also gonna parlay Inter with Roma. Where you got, Sergio?
Yeah, I got Borussia Mönchengladbach. Of course, I have Stuttgart for a win. Newcastle, Manchester City over 3.5. I have West Ham for a win, Crystal Palace for a win, Aston Villa, and Real Madrid for a win.
Good odds, very good. Also good games. I kind of like all of those games. So now, thank you guys for joining in. Like we always say, guys, bet smart, bet with your head, set your limits, and stay within your means. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah, good weekend, everybody.